What's up, everybody? Well, today I'm here to bring you another vacuum to the channel today. This time it is another installment series of the Project FrankenHoover, where I take and reconstruct various different Hoover Elites and make one working vacuum. More so to test my creativity and create a little YouTube content, but also to have a little bit of fun. And here I present for your viewing pleasure today another replica of a Hoover Elite Energy Efficient. Some people may remember the last one I made that was essentially this exact same cleaner, but or at least the same color of cleaner, but a little bit different of a body compared to this, and brush roll combination. I pretty much based this being a replica of a Hoover Elite U4715. Now, there were two different versions of the U4715. Actually, no. Two different versions with this powder blue color scheme, which is honestly one of my favorite colors in the Elite lineup. I've already done the video of another one that was the U4717. The only difference I could find between the two is the U4715, at least most of the ones I've seen, are a gray body cleaner with white attachments and gray cord. There was also a U4717, which had a black body. Early variants had the gray tools and gray cord. And later revisions of that one would go to black tools and black cord as production of these Elites got cheaper over the years. But one big difference between the U4715 and the U4717, besides the body color and sometimes cord and attachment color, was the brush roll configuration. The U4717 had the higher end dual row brush roll with the 4-wire cage bottom plate, whereas this one originally would have had the 3-bar plastic base plate and, to my knowledge, a single row brush roll. But we'll get to that later in the video. For now, let's go ahead and get to having a walk around of the machine. Now, this being one of the lower end models, it does have the standard handle grip for these Elites. Higher end models would have a black handle cover. That was the thing with these gray body Elites. They would have a black handle cover to give it more aesthetically pleasing, also to have it a nice, more firm grip. And as we move along down here is the outer bag. It says on the front here, Hoover Elite Energy Efficient. And you do have over here on the side the zipper to gain access to the inner bag. And as we come inside, typical Hoover Elite fare, you have a Hoover Type A bag. I am currently running a HEPA cloth bag for increased filtration. And I more than recommend HEPA bag upgrades for these. Even if you can find Hoover Y bags in HEPA configuration, run them in these Elites. You'll thank yourself in the end, especially these soft bag models. I remember back when I was little, I didn't like these soft bag Elites, particularly because of the low filtration bags that these things would have came with, even the genuine ones, unfortunately, especially if they get tears in them. They will start to collect dust inside the outer bag, and if it gets to a certain point, it will actually start spewing dust back into the air you breathe, especially you'll notice when the bag puffs up when it turns on, and there's a big poof of dust that follows right after it. So initially I had a bad vibe for these soft bag Elites, and why I've always preferred the hard bags over them, which I still do, mostly as a personal preference, since I had better memories of those growing up. But since the introduction of modern HEPA cloth bags, I've started to take more of a liking to these soft bag Elites a little bit more. And Your stair cleaning handle is right up front here. You can simply hold it on the front here to use the cleaner to use on carpeted stairs. And as we move down here, you have your standard Hoover Elite T-shaped hood, which I personally like this design better than the higher end square hood, because I honestly think it gives the vacuum a little bit more character than the more sleek square hood. But that's just my personal preference. They both have the same 12-inch cleaning width either way. It was a lot of the T-hood models of the Elites that either came with or without a headlight. The square hood models all came with a headlight, at least all the ones I've seen. But anyway, you do have your 4-position carpet height adjustment setting, pretty standard Elite. You have your Hoover lettering right on the front here. Brushed edge cleaning on both sides, and he uses only 7 amps in the motor. Give you a nice big prominent Hoover symbol right up there. And you do have your little tool door right over here on the side to flip this up to use it to clean. Use it for your cleaning tools. And now let's go ahead and flip this thing underneath to show you the underside. Here is the brush roll I'm currently running in this. This is a dual row genuine brush roll that I do not think came with this originally. And in fact, I haven't done too much research or haven't seen too many detailed photos of these U4715s, but I'm thinking, judging by the cleaning effectiveness per amp rating, yes, this would be the exact one for the U4715. The U4717 would be rated at 17 cleaning effectiveness per amp, which, FYI, this was nothing like specific. In fact, this wasn't actually a rating. This was just Hoover's famous marketing technique to make high-end models look prettier on the shelves while also giving them a higher price tag. Do not know if that gave any difference between the U4717, although that one was a year later with the black body, and the 17 cleaning effectiveness per amp and a upgraded brush roll and bottom plate design. I do not think that differed in price back in the day. But anyway, like I said, because of that cleaning effectiveness per amp rating, to my knowledge, this originally likely would have came with a single row brush roll. Because a lot of the other Elites I have that have that type of cleaning effectiveness per amp rating usually came with a single row brush roll. But I opted to upgrade to the dual row brush roll specifically for a better carpet cleaning performance. And no disrespect to the single row, they actually perform very good, even though they're just one row of bristles. But these dual rows do pick up a little bit more. The single row seems to agitate about as good as the dual rows, maybe a little bit better, but they don't pick up as well as the dual rows do. So anyway, the bristles are very nice and stiff, which gives it excellent carpet agitation. This is the later style of brush roll also that is contoured to fit this bottom plate design with the cutouts right here in the brush roll. And the obvious one right there that they've done for years. There were early variants of this brush roll that would still have the bristles on these posts, and whatever bristle they had left that contacted the bar of the bottom plate would get grinded off or bent around. They would likely groom a little bit better, but it doesn't really make too big a deal. They just did this mostly to streamline production in later years as the lineup gotten cheaper and cheaper. So anyway, let's go ahead and flip this thing on its back to show you the model number. We have right here the donor was a U4715-910. This one's based to be a U4715-930. 120 volts, 60 hertz. It reads 6 amps, but this motor in it is actually, it draws somewhere around 7 amps. So it's a little bit stronger of a motor than the 6 amp. And the serial on these 1091, the first 4 digits decode the month and the year. First and second is the month, third and fourth is the year. 10 of 91 would mean this is manufactured in October of 91, at least the donor, for household use only, made in the USA. Love that about these old Hoovers. They're American made. You'll never see anything that was sold cheap back then that's made in the US today. Mexico if you're lucky. But anyway, right back here you do have your cord right here. I think this has got to be almost a 30-foot cord. So that's out. I like to run it down to make sure it doesn't get any tangles. And plug this guy in. Oh, before I give it a run, here is the attachments to it. It has the side mount tool storage. You have your extension wand right there, and your hose is mounted right on the side here. You have your dusting brush, crevice tool, and upholstery tool. And lastly, right over here on the other side, you do have your power switch mounted on the side of the cleaner. Typical Elite fare, where it's a plastic rod that runs down into where a main rocker switch is inside the valley of the motor. And early gray body Elites, they would have a black switch, where later when they moved to the black body Elites, this would become a red power switch, just to make it easier to find. But enough of that. Let's go ahead and turn this thing on and give you a little demo of it running. Now, typical Elite fashion, these things are pretty loud when they're running, so headphone users or those with sensitive hearing, I would advise turning down your volume for this part. So, here we go. it runs very nice and smooth. And before we end the video, let's go ahead and demonstrate this in tool mode. So we'll go ahead and remove the hose from the rack. I'll put this little tool door up, and then the hose will simply just pop in like that. Don't expect miracle suction power out of this thing because this is a direct air vacuum. It's known to produce more airflow than it is suction. It's actually pretty good for what it is. Now we're going to put the hose back in. Just retouch it onto the rack. And there you go. Well, everybody, I hope you've enjoyed this video installment of the Hoover Elite U4715. Be sure and stay tuned, and don't forget to like, rate, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.